Yeah. So, first of all, I do not have any intention to rob or support robbing Jeff Bezos.
Me neither. That's a song.
You know, this, of
Absolutely,
course,
yes.
is artistic expression that I'm listening to.
That was just Siri X, if y'all are.
And
respect the jokes. Hashtag respect the jokes.
And I don't deny Jeff Bezos money. Right? He owns a business.
100%.
He should earn from his business.
Absolutely.
Right? Also, the people that work for Jeff Bezos, I don't want them to lose their jobs either.
100%.
He's supporting the livelihood, of 1 million employees or et cetera. Right.
We'd like them to have breaks.
Exactly.
And be able
to pee.
Right. And be able to have a livable wage.
Exactly.
But like you said, we're not trying to take down Amazon.
Not at all.
Right.
If we're trying to take
Miracle?
down Amazon,
Miracle said that. Well, I don't know. I mean,
I'm just saying that, I am not here to, take the food out of the mouths of people who work for Jeff Bezos.
Absolutely.
I am like Chris Smalls and other people just asking that they be treated better.
Yes.
And their rights as workers be respected.
Yes.
So, that. And okay, the timeline continues. So after that,
so you get suspended. Like, does Twitter send like an email, like saying like you've been suspended or your account's been suspended, or you just go to log on and you can't?
I just can't.
Okay, got you.
And what it says to me is that this tweet has been flagged for being inciting violence and being abusive and targeted harassment. That's what the notification said to me. Mm-hmm. And then it said that, do you want to delete it or do you want to appeal? And I said, appeal. And I wrote down, my reasons for not wanting to delete it because I did not agree that I was inciting violence, nor was I engaging in targeted harassment.
Right.
But then while they're processing your appeal, you're locked out of the system. So you can't get on. So so the aftermath when black women started to ride for me and start to get attacked themselves, and I didn't see that because that early I was already out.
Right.
And I was out for almost a week after. So everything I saw happening on Twitter was secondhand through my partner, Dr. Siri Alang. And she was the one kind of reporting to me what was going on. And, and of course, at this time, I had already had calls from, my administrators and things like that, saying that there would be a response. They didn't tell me what the response would be, but definitely this has come to the point that they've seen it and they're going to have to respond to it. And I said, and I also, at that point explained to them my perspective and where I came from and what the British monarch had done and what she represented and what I was, the truth I was telling and how I was speaking from not just my pain, but the collective pain of my family and my broader Igbo people. So, I told that to them and then they said, okay. And that was it. Whatever else I heard from them was when I was hearing it on the news along with everybody else or when I saw the statement being released, et cetera.
Absolutely. And so I had two more questions and I want to open it up. Has this experience changed the way, because like you said, you kind of go in, you use Twitter, you kind of almost like prepare, like you said, to teach when you go in there. Has this experience changed the way you're looking at engaging in social media, or do you intend to continue to engage in the way you have?
So even in this, my most intense moment on social media, fundamentally, more than I am anything else in this world, more than I am a mother, more than I am a researcher, more than I am a sister, a community member, I am a teacher. And if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to teach.
Right.
And even in that very intense moment of profound pain and my outbursts, my emotional outbursts of deep, deep pain, I was teaching. I followed up explaining that there was a genocide against the Biafra people.
Right.
the who were trying, the Igbo people who were trying to form an independent nation of Biafra. They wanted to be separate from the country that the British Empire had imposed on us, which was this country of Nigeria, where they kind of took a bunch of independent nations who don't have anything to do with each other, don't even speak each other's language, don't relate. Many of them were even enemies and warring at the time, smushed them all together and drew these arbitrary lines around them and called them countries and named those countries.
Right.
And then said, now y'all get along and do a country for us and be a union for us. And then go through, contentious, bloody independence processes that never really yield any real independence. You're still part of a commonwealth afterwards.
True.
And you have the eternal meddling in your affairs and the eternal extraction of your resources and the eternal fomenting of divisiveness and infighting in order to be able to control you. This is what an oppressor does, a colonizer does. These are tactics and strategies of dominance.
Right.
We were subjected to that as a larger unit of Nigeria. And then when the Igbo people said, we want our own thing, let's go and do that. Well, it so happened to be that the territory that this new country of Biafra was going to be in included very, very rich oil reserves. And the British were not going to let go of that.
Wow.
And the people that they had put in power, their puppet Nigerian governments weren't going to do that either because they needed it for the Nigerian project.
Right.
And Britain needed it for its own interests and uses. So Great Britain got directly involved in this civil war and in the war for independence and decided that they would do everything to make sure that Biafra did not go.
Wow.
And this everything meant directly funding genocide of the people of Biafra. This is what happened. This is the historical record. I'm not saying anything that's in doubt or in question, right?
Yeah.
Even when it was happening during this period of 1967 to 1970, the BBC themselves were producing documentaries, decrying it, covering all the protests that were happening in Great Britain.
This is recent.
Yeah, this is very recent. My sister, for example, is turning 60 this month. And my sister was alive at that time. She was like 5, 6.
Right.
My other brother was alive at the time, and my second brother was in my mother's belly. She was pregnant during this time, running from village to village to escape the bombs that they were throwing at villagers. So when we tell you that 3 million people, some people have said up to 5 million, 6 million, or some people quote low. So the sort of average agreed upon number that you really cannot contest is about 3 million. When you think of a Holocaust,
Right.
this is a Holocaust.
Absolutely.
Now, the Holocaust that we typically were most familiar with is the most famous one against the Jewish people,
Yes.
where they, 6 million of them were massacred.
Absolutely.
So at the most sort of conservative estimation, they did half of us,
Right.
half that number. Civilians, these are non-combatants, and more than 1 million children alone starved.
Wow.
The British paid for that. And Queen Elizabeth II was ruler. She was monarch at that time. This was the government that she was supervising. Now, I don't buy this notion that she was just a statue, if you will.
I was going to ask you that question.
Or
Reading my mind.
a decorative plant.
Right.
Or, some kind of, I don't know, tchotchke sitting on the shelf.
Right.
This was a ruler. This was someone, the very crown that she had on her head, signifying the fact that she's a monarch, was made from plunder,
Right.
diamonds, blood diamonds.
Absolutely.
So the throne that she's sitting on is a throne of blood. So you cannot say that she was just this little old lady or this figurehead that really had nothing to do with anything, and it was just the British government that were making their deals and, governing however they would, without relating it directly to her because she directly benefited her very position as a monarch, the palace that she lived in, the opulence, the obscene levels of wealth that she enjoyed
Absolutely.
were all paid for by our blood. And I don't say this figuratively. And I don't say this as something that, oh, this long remote past, let's say, of human enslavement, which on my mother's side, she's from Trinidad, my ancestors over there were enslaved by the British. I'm talking about recent living memory of people still alive today. Her money, her government funded our slaughter. And people expected me to be calm or to be, I don't know what they expected.
Right.
When the person who literally paid money for bombs and guns and military
Absolutely.
supplies to come and massacre your people is dying. You're not supposed to dance. What's the reaction to that?
You know, I remember when we found out that Osama bin Laden was killed, and Americans celebrated, right? Because they held him responsible for 9/11, which just passed, and that terror that occurred